This is becoming somewhat of a catchphrase here on Dimph News Devotion, where I say, I didn't want to talk about this, but now I have to talk about this. It's sort of becoming so common now that it even defeats the purpose of saying it all. It's just filler words. It means nothing at this point.
For when I am weak, then I am strong.
We have to talk about that cross that appeared over a church in Russia only because we're going to debunk the debunkers.
Look at this planetarium projection here. How cool is this thing that you can do with electricity and lights and a close proximity bedroom ceiling?
Hey skeptics, can you see the differences between this planetarium projection and that cross that appeared over Russia? Well, in this photo here of a projection, there's a beam. You can see a beam. You know what's missing in that video of the cross that appeared over Russia? A beam. There's no beam. Oh, still not convinced? That's okay. I'm just getting started. It's also able to cast perfectly shaped dots, which is typical of the shape of a tiny circle, at least to the naked eye. Have you ever seen a city skyline before? All these buildings lit up. You know what you never see? Their exact shape reflected in the clouds. Least of all, not so perfectly. Look at the cross here in the video again. The lines are too straight. This is clearly a cloud that's making the shape of a cross. But wait, there's more. There's two layers of clouds from our perspective, and the clouds making the cross shape is the second layer. You can tell by the layer of clouds closer to the camera operator here at the ends of the cross. We also don't know if the church is as perfectly cross-shaped as the cross in the sky, although judging by the very limited footage that we have from the video, it doesn't look like it is. Those not from the area might assume it is, so we can go off of the psychology or reactions, if you will, of those involved with the video. They're mesmerized. They also sound local. They've never seen something like that before.
Лена Анатольевна, мы вот сами не можем поверить. Мы пошли погулять. Мы сейчас видео. И вот здесь вот такое чудо.
If this was common, or it happened before, or I should rather say, if this could be so commonly explained away, then they wouldn't have taken interest in it at all. In case I didn't make this clear, there's no way a light of that shape and size could be cast by a church like that without visible beams seen ascending from the church. If light really was reflected against the clouds from the church, then it would have been more of just a circular shape, or, if any shape at all, it would have just looked like a glob. Trust me on this one. I live in a highly populated area with a lot of big buildings that cast a lot of light into the clouds, and they don't look anything like this to this kind of detail. Have you ever driven around at night and seen the sky lit up and decide to drive to the location of the light and find out it's a Walmart? Does Walmart cast a perfect Walmart shape of lights into the night sky with such straight edges? No, not based on my experiences, and I've gone to Walmart many times at night.
But Luke, it is possible to cast a perfect shape into the night sky with light. Look at the bat signal.
Yes, this is true. I'm not denying that. By all means, look at that bat signal. Do you see a glaring difference between the bat signal and the church? Again, that darn beam of light that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I've read a comment on another post elsewhere saying, it's amazing what you can do with electricity. Yes, I agree. What does that have to do with this? That's not a debunk. Also, God can manipulate electricity. Why wouldn't he be able to? He created it. Heck, God could have manipulated the electricity to form this cross, and thus it is still a miracle. Either way, it could still be some form of divine intervention or sign, and any debunk attempt would further lend credibility to the supernatural element. One thing I know for sure, if this is real, then the devil definitely wouldn't want you to think this is from God. If it really is from God, that's right, I went there. I didn't want to have to go there, but I took it there. The gloves are off now. In all seriousness, this isn't even the first time this has happened, nor is it the first time it's happened over Russia. This has happened before. Behold! This one here with the smaller cross even looks like the cross is standing on the hill of Calvary. It's pretty something. You can go ahead and Google these for yourself. I know things can be faked with AI, but the truth about AI is it still reveals itself. Even in 2025, it usually can't resist immediately taking things to 11. AI is bipolar, to say the least. It comes off as unhinged. It just can't help itself. Another thing about AI videos is that not everyone has access to it. Not everyone knows how to incorporate AI effects into a video they recorded with their phone and post-edit. I do imagine that day is coming, and we can definitely dread that day. But let's back up a bit regarding the shape of the building versus the cross in the sky. Why is only this particular steeple casting the reflection of light and not the other one next to it? The videographer graciously moves the camera around a little bit to give us some more context. She gives her family's reaction and even reveals a little more of the church. It certainly doesn't look like a church of that shape should be casting such a perfectly shaped cross. Again, look at those straight edges. That cross is appearing from behind our angle and above another layer of clouds that seem to be moving out of the way of the cross. Yeah, sorry, debunk wannabes. Maybe next time. I'm just not accepting your arguments here in this case, but I'm not done with you. Later on this year, I'm going to beat up on you some more when I respond to the debunk attempts of the miracle of the sun in Fatima. So it's going to be a rough year for skeptics. Of course, if you don't want to believe there was any kind of divine sign from that cross in Russia, then you're not required to believe in it to get into heaven. That should be pretty obvious. But if you're spending so much time and energy trying to convince people of otherwise, then that just makes me want to believe it even more. After all, with all the miracles that came out of LA the past week, of Catholic homes and a statue of Our Lady of Guadalupe surviving the intense fires, why not put a little faith into the possibility of a giant cross miraculously appearing over a church in Russia? Haters gone hate. And then they burn in their own hatred. It's going to be a great year for Christians. Stay true to your faith, keep praying the rosary, keep studying scripture, and stick to the catechism of the Council of Trent. Don't go to that revised one. God doesn't change, and neither should catechisms. God bless you all, and Ave Maria.